right now at Gen Con 2024, and Kyle FERRIN, the artiste extraordinaire in the board game world. I think you're my absolute favorite artist of any, and I can say anyone I've talked to in the board game world, you are number one. So
I appreciate it.
We are going to get to know the artist today a little bit better. So you've done Root and Oath.
I did Ahoy, and Fort, and Vast the Crystal Caverns, Vast the Mysterious Manor. Those are all the, kind of the big leader games.
I'm going to ask you 10 questions. It's going to be rapid fire.
Okay.
Now, Cole Worley might be arriving. If he does, we'll get him to jump right in.
Yep.
And if not, this is amazing.
Okay.
Question number one: what's the best gateway game for new gamers?
You know, I kind of got into big board games by playing Dominion. One of my first games of Dominion could have been a disaster because I learned it from people who didn't talk the entire time they were playing. So they would just silently take their turn and go, "I'm done."
And you have no idea what's going on.
And they're like, "What are you doing?" And but I still really look fondly on Dominion as one of the ones that it's like, oh, board games can be completely different than, you know, move around a board type thing. So I think that's a great gateway game still.
Okay, question number two. What's your favorite game to play with a grandma?
I really like cribbage. When we go camping and things, we play cribbage with my siblings and things, and that's a good grandma style game.
That's a great pick. I love it. What was your first Gen Con? When did you first come, and what did you experience when you were here? Was there a big game that year? Or
2016 was my first Gen Con. Is when we released Vast the Crystal Caverns. I wasn't working full time as a board game designer yet, or a board game illustrator, but Patrick Leader had me come, and it was a big deal for Vast. We had 300 copies, but we sold out of them, and that was a big deal. It felt really good to do that, and I think my big kind of culture shock of coming to Gen Con was an old man came and asked to how much Vast was, and as he lifted the box down, he went, "Oh," because it weighed like 6 pounds with all the chipboard, and I thought I was going to break his heart, so I told him how much it cost, and he said, "I'll take 2." And then the hall had only been open for like a few seconds, and his son came around the corner of the aisle just schlepping these 2 enormous bags of probably thousands of dollars worth of games, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot different than I expected. But that was a fond memory of being like, oh well, there's a lot of people who are into this and they're serious about it. So
what's your favorite Vast faction to play, or favorite power to play?
Ooh, I mean, I really like the Goblins. I like how many cards they have. They have probably the most art in the Crystal Caverns out of all of the rolls, so I think the Goblins are probably my favorite for that.
How about Root?
For Root, I've probably played the most games as the birds.
Yes.
I'm kind of a bird nerd myself, and because their programming mechanic is so left-brained, I feel like I choose that one a lot because it's naturally very difficult for me to win, and I like to teach games where other people win the first time at least.
Yes.
So I feel like that's a good way to get people to keep playing them.
That's why you have so many friends playing with you.
Yeah.
You have a chance to introduce any game in the world to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lady Gaga. They've come over to your house. You're hanging out. What do you play with them?
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lady Gaga. I might get out, if I knew they were both coming and had some advance notice, I would get out probably some of my zombie side stuff, because I feel like Lady Gaga would appreciate the production of it all.
Yes.
Like the
flair,
the glamminess, and Arnold would appreciate all the weapons and and violence.
And the killing.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
okay, that's a great pick. If you could introduce me to a single game that I probably haven't heard of right now, what would it be?
Ooh.
This is a hard one because I've heard of a lot.
I know, you've heard a lot of games. Have you played Get Bit before?
No.
So Dave Chalker, who's one of the designers on Thunder Road Vendetta that has been getting a lot of buzz, one of his first published games is a game called Get Bit, and there's just been a new publication of it, and it's just a little hand-drawn game where you have little figurines that are trying not to be in the back of the line where the shark bites your legs and arms off, and the little figurines have arms and legs that come off.
Nice.
But it does this cool thing thing kind of like where everybody plays a card, and then if you play the highest one, you're in the front. If you play your lowest one in the back, but then you have to put that card to the side. But the kind of the funny thing is that if more than one person plays the same card, you don't get to move at all. So you're doing this interesting thing of keeping track of what you're doing, but you're also keeping track of, you know, what other cards people have played, and doing this mind game of like, please don't play a 3. That's the only card I have left, or something like that. So yeah, Get Bit. Check that one out.
Check it out. Is there a game you'll never play again?
Ooh, yes. There was a game that was kind of big, and my friend worked at a mall game store, and he had this game called Couriers. I don't know if you played that one. The box looks like a big die, and it's a beautiful production. It looks really cool. There's a million different kinds of dice, and I just think it's a game that setting it up is inversely proportional to how fun it is to play. I think there's some games that are really easy to set up, and then they're a lot of fun, or really easy to set up and kind of quick. This game took a long time and was like, and that's all. And so Couriers I'll probably move on from. If somebody asked me, I'd say, I just think we could spend our time a little bit better on something else.
It's fair. Dice or cards?
Ooh, I mean, you can only put so much art on dice, so I'd probably say cards if I had to choose.
Oh, that's a really good choice.
Yeah.
Love it. Last question. Your best board gaming memory?
Let's see. I think my best board gaming memory is a Gen Con one, and it was probably when we were playing Root after the convention, and it was just a moment when we were playing it and we kind of looked at each other and said, you know, this is a really good game. Like, we like playing it a lot. Even though we'd been selling it all day, we still felt like playing it at night, and that's a good feeling to feel like you've made something that is worth promoting. You know, you're not trying to trick anybody, you're just being honest about it, and people are kind of finding it attractive, finding their own way to that, and enjoying it. I think that's a good feeling.
Anyone I've played your games with have been blown away by their originality, your artwork, the incredible mechanisms that Cole put into the game. They're awesome. You guys are just killing it. On behalf of all the gamers out there who love Leader Games, awesome. Where can they find your games?
Leadergames.com is the best place to do it. We sell direct. We also have stuff on Amazon and whatever, but if you get it from us, then we get more money, so do it that way.
Brilliant. Yes. Yeah. Listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about. Thanks so much. It was great to meet you.
All right, thanks.
Awesome.
Bye.
Now get out there, get gaming, and be legendary. My highlight of Gen Con 2024 was when I visited Leader Games and I got to interview Kyle FERRIN and Cole Worley, two really cool guys who design games and did the artwork for games that I really love. Unfortunately, the low light for this con was when I got back to the hotel and all of the audio was lost because it was doing a firmware update. We have fortunately saved the footage. We've gone over that and tried to remember sort of what was included in that interview. And so if you're a fan of these two guys, then please feel free, if you're a member, to continue watching. And for those of you who are joining us as members, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy the interview. Now get out there, get gaming, and be legendary.